Hello, peeps. This is a hillbilly halfwit. How are you today? And we've had a person in our comments who you'd probably like to know about. It's this lady here, I think. So, see the lady in red there? Look, who we were talking about. So, when I made the video earlier on today, I got mixed up with the Farmers Union of Wales and the Farmers Union. So, just want to make that clear. But what I was talking about wasn't this, which I'll show you in a second. So there's a lady in the middle who is in the comments. I'll show you the comment there. Look, there we are. I think it's her, Elenid322. I sent a message earlier following your post earlier in the week, which was before. It is Farmers Union of Wales, which celebrated 70th anniversary at the Senedd. I have seen the photos on Facebook. I don't know if that's her or not, but anyway, it seemed like it is. So that's the photo we're on about. So this is from Clear Griffith. He's a guy on the left. There's a guy on next to him there is the leader of Plaid Cymru. So remember, this was all before the vote for the farmers the other day, that they voted against the farmers. If you look second from the right, that was a guy that won the election a couple of months back for Plaid Cymru. So you see them. So you see that was before the really crucial vote that I was talking about in the other video. So you have to remember these things are live, so they have to be live. And you can't remember, sometimes you misspeak, so that's cleared that up. So let's look at this. So they pretend to say that they're not with Labour, but they had an agreement, Plaid Cymru, with Labour. And this was from Rhyn ap Lorwerth. This was from him the same day. So this is why I mentioned the Farmers Union, because this is what he said on the day. The farming unions have been clear in their advice to MS that the statutory instrument of the Sustainable Farming Scheme need to pass today. So let me say that again, the farming unions. That's what I was talking about, the farming unions. Despite them not being what Plaid Cymru or the unions prefer, and having called for a longer, more gradual tapering from BPS to SFS, we accept that the uncertainty and potential chaos of it not passing them would be even worse for the industry. Let me say this again. So they passed this even though the leader of Plaid Cymru said this. Despite them not being what Plaid Cymru or the unions prefer. So how does that work when the unions said yes and called for a longer and more gradual tapering from BPS to SFS? So somebody, I think, may be telling fibs here about what the unions actually said. We accept that the uncertainty and potential chaos of not passing them would be even worse for the industry. How can it be even worse for the industry? Because you just locked it in. There would be serious implications for the BPS ceiling. The BPS scheme is going to finish now because you've locked it in. And no certainty that the BPS budget of 238 million would remain in place for 2026. There's no certainty now. They could do it now. Plaid Cymru has always backed Welsh farmers, and we have been clear that the transition from BPS to SFS should be a just one and not a rushed one. They voted for it now to be a rushed one. It's a month away, and they haven't finalised the scheme. If Plaid Cymru forms a government after May 2026, we will revisit these issues to provide greater certainty and a stronger future for the Welsh agriculture. This would include providing longer-term funding security, simplifying the scheme and cutting down on bureaucracy and red tape. So that's out the Plaid Cymru leader's mouth. See? So this was taken just before that vote. And the lady in the middle set it all up because her father was one of the first 10 people to set up the Farmers Union of Wales, which I still pay into, by the way. Yes, and my dad's paid into it since the very start. They should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves. Anyway, just to make that clear, it's the Farmers Union of Wales. Okay, so let's go off this bit. So let's see some other photographs here. Okay, let's see this one here. So this was taken in Ireland by, well, I can show you in another thing. It's all on Facebook. And this is a nice little love-in between the Senator's Plaid Cymru presiding officer, Ellen Jones. That's the lady on the right. That's probably replied to that comment before. And the lady by the side of her, I think, is her girlfriend. I'm not sure. Her partner and BBC Radio Wales editor, Carolyn Hitt. So that's her on the right. Now, that person next to her there is Labour's Leslie Griffiths. She was the agricultural minister and is a vegetarian. And that guy that's with her is the Wales's top civil servant, Gary Haggerty. So these lot have met in Ireland somehow. That's a bit odd, isn't it? Now, partners on the one side of the table, on the right-hand side. What about on the other side? I don't know. But anyway, that's a bit odd, having the presiding officer in charge of the Senedd, the BBC, a minister and the civil service in the same photograph. That could lead to people wondering what the hell is going on in Wales. So this is from Plaid Cymru the other day. People in Wales should pay more in income tax in order to help Wales through an unprecedented crisis, according to Plaid Cymru. The party is calling for a 1p in the pound increase for people earning over 12,500, a 2p rise for salaries over 50,000, and an extra 3p for those bringing more than 150,000. So they want to tax us more. So that's what's coming now next time, if they get in next time. So this was an ex Plaid Cymru MP, Simon Thomas. You used to see him on the BBC all the time. And he was on there constantly when I used to watch it. Simon Thomas, child sex image sentence labelled lenient. Thomas was also an MP for Ceredigion between 2000 and 2005. He was on the BBC media all the time, constantly. I got to be careful what I say in this. The sentence for an ex-assembly member convicted of making images of, you can see that there, as young as what you can see, has been labelled ridiculously lenient. Former Plaid AM Simon Thomas admitted making more than 500 photographs and 77 films, and he was given a 26-week suspended jail sentence. Don't hear much about that, do we? So this is from the Wales Online. Rhiannon Richards is arguably the most senior figure in the media in Wales. She's the £190,000 a year interim direction of nations for the BBC. She's also a former chief executive of Plaid Cymru and served as a Plaid special advisor when the party was in a coalition government in Wales. So she was working with Welsh Labour. Before working for Plaid, she began her career as a journalist. Nigel Farage has launched an attack on the decision to appoint her to such a prominent role at the BBC, given her political affiliation, because she is establishment, isn't she? So, this was a photo I showed you before. I don't know if this is going to come up. There we are. So this is from Jack of the North. So this was taken, good to bump into these two. So these lot were in Dublin, Ireland. The four of them together. Were they on a jolly? I don't know. Seems a bit odd. So the conclusion to that. When you place all of these pictures side by side, a very clear pattern emerges. You see senior figures from Plaid Cymru, Welsh Labour, influential voices in the media, and high-ranking civil servants all appearing in the same social circles, supporting each other's events and reinforcing the same political direction. To the public, especially farmers and working class communities, it doesn't look like separate parties holding each other to account. It looks like one tightly connected establishment working in unison. People remember what Plaid Cymru's promise was during that election, that they would stand up for farmers, oppose damaging policies and offer a different direction for Wales. Yet their recent voting behaviour and public statements have left many feeling that those promises have been abandoned. Instead of pushing back against Labour's decisions on farming, taxation or the Welsh budget, Plaid now appear to be moving alongside them, often using the same justification lines that ordinary people simply don't buy. And trust is further strained when key institutions, meant to be neutral like the Senedd's presiding officer, are perceived by the public to be too close to one side of the political world. Even if no rules are broken, neutrality relies on public confidence, and that confidence is being eroded when the same small group of political, media, administrative figures seem to appear together at every turn. Combine that with Plaid calling for higher taxes on Welsh people, historic scandals involving former members, and the revolving door between political parties and influential media roles, and the message it sends to the public is simple. There is a club in Cardiff Bay, and you're not in it. And the people who are in it seem to be more interested in supporting each other than listening to the people they are supposed to represent. For farmers, for working communities, and for anyone who feels ignored by this cosy political circle, the frustration is completely understandable. Wales deserves accountability, transparency, and real opposition, not a closed shop of insiders who all think the same and all protect each other. Well, people, let me put this up again here. I'm just a normal guy who earns less than 10,000 quid a year before I actually pay any bills. And I think it's been around 2 years now I've been looking into these things in Wales. And I genuinely thought the government of Wales was looking out for us all. And now I'm totally disillusioned by the whole thing. It's all a big false game. They're all one big party. And the only chance for people, there is no other party to vote for besides Reform. And people can say what they want. All the other parties are working together. They're changing electoral rule. There is no other party a working class person in Wales can vote for to get things changed. It's like being in the Animal Farm book, I've got to say. And there it is for you. There it is for you. And that guy second from the right was promising to help farmers a month ago and not do anything with the budget. And all them lot there from Plaid are now working with Labour to get the budget through within a month. And they want to put taxes up. They've got the same think tanks as each other. We are in a state in Wales, I can tell you. We are in a state. But at least the hillbilly halfwit with his small little channel has the presiding officer possibly listening to his channel. So, not everybody has that happen. Can you imagine people having the chair of Westminster Parliament listening to their channel? That's something good, I think. At least we're getting somewhere, isn't it? So,